Hello and welcome to Firefight Friday. We're back on Halo Infinite, just trying things out. I don't think the VTuber program that I use works, so we're back to the PNG tuber. Firefight Friday is a video series where I go over what's on my mind and I play a PVE game mode, and it looks like we're joining one in the middle, which is not ideal unless it's at the very beginning. And okay, yeah, it's at the very beginning. And last week we went over some of me going into... Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, is this... Yeah, okay, it was the controller. Alright, we're going back to controller. It was going over the... Sorry, brain fog. Going over the my journey into the prototype of the alt-right pipeline on YouTube, and how I kind of used to be in the Incel before it was called the Incel. The kind of like red pill shit. And something I forgot last time, I mentioned that part of it was gaming and its anti-feminist critique that also got me into the prototype of the alt-right pipeline. I was also a watcher of people like The Amazing Atheist, because I had some religious trauma from going to a Christian school, and these atheist channels also went to an anti-feminist like kind of thing. Since then, several of them, especially the ones that I used to follow, like Dark Matter 2525 and Amazing Atheist, have gone on the record saying no, they were incorrect for going after this. And basically I was part of two communities that fused to be the start of the alt-right pipeline. People like to think that it began with like PewDiePie, but it really didn't. So when gaming was being critiqued through a feminist lens, and atheism was kind of going after feminism, I don't know why. But being part of both of these groups was what kind of sent me down the prototype. Now, I never went with people like Sargon of Akkad, because, like, honestly, I don't know what it was about him. I could never, like, stand him.
Your team about to score. New teammate.
And... oh, hello. Yeah, a grenade probably would have been better there. Anyway, Gamergate started around 2014, and a lot of groups, again, that I was part of, since I was both part of online gaming spaces and the, you know, atheists who had swapped their viewpoint to being hey, Christians are trying to control everything, to, hey, feminists are trying to control everything. Gamergate, for those who don't understand, was a... I think I went over this last time, but didn't go into detail. Was a movement originally about ethics in games journalism, because at the time games journalism was basically commercials for said games. And they didn't go after stuff like, you know, how developers are being treated, you know, industry inside stuff, which is what any, like, self-respecting journalism should. But one weekend, back when the leader of the webmaster of 4chan, Moot, couldn't go, like, he was at an event, so he couldn't moderate 4chan. Someone went on 4chan claiming to be Zoe Quinn, who is not a good person, but went on to claim that, you know, he was Zoe Quinn's well, ex-boyfriend, and they had broken up because she cheated on him by sleeping with a developer. Not a developer, a reviewer, to get a good review on one of her video games. Now, I don't think this was actually the case, but 4chan kind of went with it, and this was a big thing where every game's like space kind of went with it too. Zoe Quinn eventually went on 4chan and was trying to fight it, and the thing about 4chan is you cannot fight 4chan, especially on its own turf. And it just... Of course the hunters left. But my logic on this was, hey, if this stuff is true, we actually care about games journalism, we should be going after the reviewer, because that's kind of extortion. Like a quid pro quo thing. And that's where the ethics in games journalism violation is. But, you know, with her going on 4chan, which just made the situation worse, it basically became a let's harass female developers and women. And it was at that point where I was just like, nah, this is a bad look, guys. And it just kept getting worse because, for those who don't know, 4chan is famous for pretty much allowing anything, any discussion, as long as it is not CP. Like, if the content could get 4chan sued, it wasn't allowed. Which basically just no illegal content. Oh my god, am I the only one on this hill? Yeah, I got him. But there's quite a bit of Nazis, and at the time, the thought was Nazis on 4chan weren't legit Nazis, they were just trolling. They were there to get a reaction to people, but it turns out they were actually Nazis. But the general rule was, you know, just ignore them. They want your attention, they want to get you mad. Ignore them, and, you know, don't feed the troll. Which I honestly believe don't feed the troll is something that more people need to learn in the modern internet. And so, of course, all these new people to 4chan especially in a anti-feminist thing. Well, you know, anti-feminism and, you know, feminists, with the rhetoric of feminists are ruining everything in gaming. And again, I'm not necessarily a fan of people like Anita Sarkeesian or Zoe Quinn or anything. But with the logic of feminists are ruining gaming, it quickly becomes minorities are ruining gaming, especially in a place with, you know, Nazis and uncensored speech. And I just kind of, like, at this point, was allowed to disconnect from the gaming community. Because it was just a bad look to, like, you'd say you were a gamer, and then, like, people would go, oh, you're one of those who are harassing people, and, like it was kind of a bad look. And a lot of the boards I went on at the time, outside of 4chan, like The Flood on Bungie.net, The Flood got removed because Bungie.net went through a remake. And then The Escapist, the other place I really went for gaming, lost most of its content because they said, hey, we're gonna be on Gamergate side on this, just so we don't get some heat, because we do games journalism. Alright. And in doing so, a lot of the people I watched on The Escapist, Loading Ready Run was part of The Escapist, Jim Sterling was, Movie Bob, which Movie Bob did not age well. And a lot of these people, basically everyone but the most famous person, Yahtzee, left The Escapist, and so there wasn't really any content for me to go to The Escapist about. And so I just kind of like ended up playing League of Legends and RuneScape for a few years, and staying out of gaming as a major thing. But the ability to remove myself from these situations is actually what got me to leave this pipeline. I also got to experience more people in real life because I'm forced to go outside and socialize. And that kind of, the radicalization kept going for a lot of people online. And believe it or not, this radicalization eventually led to Donald Trump's presidency, because he was saying a lot of the things that, I'm not going to say Gamergate, but like the more conservative parts of the internet were at the time. And a lot of people don't realize that. But yeah, it's a lot harder nowadays to escape this content because it's kind of rooted in everything. Like, if any part of fandom or anything you enjoy, you dig deep enough, you'll get someone who's saying, this thing is being ruined by minorities in it. When in reality, it's actually being ruined because people who have the money to fund this stuff, the money people, the business, the CEOs, the shareholders, actually aren't very good creatively. They are good making money, and they are not necessarily good at writing or creating art. That's why they have to hire others to do this. But being they control money for the projects, they feel like their say has importance. Anyway, it's a little bit of a shorter episode. No, it's about 14 minutes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you listened to what I was saying, and I hope to see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, have a good day. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. I would appreciate it if you liked, commented, or subscribed. I'm I'm still kind of new at this, even though this account is very old, but I do appreciate feedback, and I hope you have a wonderful day.